morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. Best day of the week. New comic book day is here. It's me, Alex Garcia, aka the COG, coming at you from comicbookclique.com. Guys, it's a little chilly today, but these books are hot fire. So let's jump right into it. We're gonna start in Marvel, where we got Ultimate Wolverine by Chris Condon and Alessandro Cappuccio. Guys, the last couple issues, we've seen the resistance against the Eurasian forces, against Colossus and company. They've had some victories. In this, they whip out the bomb, and they drop the bomb on the resistance. Brutal issue, and just when you thought the resistance was building up steam, not quite. So now we're gonna see what's gonna happen now that Wolverine's gonna have to now take it up another notch. This was a great issue. Great to see Alessandro Cappuccio back on the art. I mean, he always makes it just absolutely amazing. And Chris Condon really just rips the throat out of us as the readers in this issue. Don't miss this issue, guys. This is really taking us down to, the makers making its comeback. Endgame is coming. Great stuff here. Don't miss it. And we also get to see an Ultimate Black Panther, what's happening there, because we got more crazy things happening here with issue 222 by Brian Hill and Carlos Nieto. In the last issue, we saw that the army of Wakanda is like stronger than ever, and now Black Panther and Killmonger are searching for Storm, who was recently kidnapped, and we see who's done the kidnapping and what their grand plan is, and it is messy. It is crazy what they were able to accomplish. I don't want to spoil the ramifications of this issue. Check it out. Don't miss it if you've been enjoying Ultimate Black Panther. Some major stuff happens here. We'll be talking about it soon. Great stuff. Ryan Hill, you keep killing it with this book. We only got 2 issues left of this book. What's going to happen with these characters in the next 2 issues? It's going to be kind of crazy. Don't miss it. Endgame is coming, guys. Let's jump over to Marvel Knights, The World to Come, issue number 4 by Joe Quesada and Christopher Priest. And guys, this issue really takes us through the timeline. And I think they recognize how, confusing it can be, because in the end of the issue, they give us a nice timeline that also gives, for those of you, I haven't read that Black Panther run by Christopher Priest since it came out. So if you find this issue a little confusing, make sure you read that timeline. That'll make everything smoother. But in general, we find out what exactly went down in this The World to Come world that has everything going crazy. We find out that there was a massive fight between apparently the Inhumans and the X-Men and the rest of the superhero community. Huge chunk of the superhero community apparently gets raptured, just disappears. They don't know what's going on. And in the wake of it all, the new King of Wakanda, along with his new regime, are taking full advantage of it. It turns out someone is not quite dead, who we thought was dead, and they had a plan for this the whole time. So if you guys are finding this World to Come kind of off the wall, don't miss this issue, and make sure you read that timeline at the end. This was pretty cool stuff. I really hope that the next issue just clears everything up for the better. But on the whole, pretty cool stuff, and Joe Quesada's art, always good to see. Check it out. Let's jump over to DC, where we have Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum by W. Maxwell Prince and Maxon Morazzo, my apologies. Guys, after the end of the last issue where, Superman is turned into a kid and has to learn how to kind of get out over that with the help of Shazam, he gets an SOS call to go to the 5th dimension, right? Where he has to help Mr. Mxyzptlk. And he gets there and he finds out that, somebody's messing with imagination. And this was a very cool psychedelic issue, guys. This was all about imagination. Maxwell Prince takes us down this road. He really embraces the wacky and craziness of the 5th dimension. So lots of weird things happen in this issue. And while all that weirdness is happening, Lex Luthor is coming together with his final plan. This issue, guys, if you're not liking this style so far, then you're not going to like this issue. But if you are enjoying this was a lot of fun. This is like embracing golden age comic books where you just kind of got to suspend your disbelief, right? That's what this is all about. This is like just old school comic book logic, where it's like, hey man, they can do it because it's a comic book. And a lot of that happens in this issue, but it's, to me, it's very well explained, good stuff, and it all leads, because this is the penultimate issue. So we have the final issue, next issue, where now Superman, Batman have to deal with Lex Luthor and his final plan. He has got a new ally. The ally is very interesting. We'll see how that all comes down. And if you've been enjoying it, like I said, you're gonna love this issue. If you haven't, you're probably not gonna like this. This is a really, really wacky issue. But good stuff for my part, I believe. Don't miss it if you've been enjoying it. Speaking of something that I've been enjoying that maybe not everybody has, is Mr. Terrific, Year 1, number 6. This is the final issue in the series by Al Letson and Valentino Delandro, right? Valentin Delandro, yep. And guys, if you really don't believe that this series is gonna matter, this issue shows you how much it matters. This ties into so much stuff that has come. This ties into the Flash title. This ties into JSA, Darkseid Wars. I mean, everything that's going on with Darkseid. So if you really are into the DC continuity, because for me, this kind of lost me a little bit, because so much of that stuff I'm not reading. But on the whole, still a strong issue. Makes me really want to jump into some of those other books, because Mr. Terrific here is just astounding. This is a fun final issue, just slightly lost because, like I said, I'm not tied into all of DC's continuity, but you can tell a lot of the stuff that happens in this is going to matter. So if you're one of those completionists, don't miss this. Make sure you go back and pick up this entire miniseries, because on a whole, it was fantastic. Al, I really hope they give you more work over at DC. Great stuff. And let's jump to Image. We have Transformers number 26 by Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora. And guys, I really was, it's only been one issue now into the Dan Mora art and Robert Kirkman's writing. And I thought when I opened this issue, it was gonna be like, oh man, I miss Jorge Corona's art, I miss Daniel Warren Johnson's art. It just flowed. I was really impressed. Dan, you can tell he's adjusted his style a bit for Transformers. I was very impressed with just how it just went with it. This picks up with the ramifications of, what's going on with the Decepticon jets. If you remember, Skywarp was brutally mutilated for the sake of the war. And here, Thundercracker's begging the Autobots, hey, help, can you help? And some interesting things happen. We find out some soldiers over in Cybertron are not as dead as we thought they were from previous issues. And we see Megatron is hatching up a new scheme. Of course he is. And I'm thinking maybe some stuff is going to tie directly into Void Rivals, which is what I was hoping now that Robert Kirkman's doing this and Void Rivals. We get some G.I. Joe characters appearing in this. It's all looking like it's coming together. And if you've been enjoying the Energon universe as much as I have, don't miss this issue, and you're going to really see that thread bringing you all together. So don't miss this. Check it out. And if you've been enjoying the Unnamed universe, you definitely don't want to miss this, because this is a great jumping on point. If you've not been collecting Red Coat, we got Red Coat number 15 by Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch over here. If you've not been collecting Red Coat and you feel like, man, too much is going on, great jumping on issue. Everything slows down in this issue. We see our hero here. He's kind of embracing life. I think he's just saying, you know what, I'm gonna settle down. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna enjoy my immortality for a second. And you see him just slow down until the old friend shows up, an old character from issues before. But again, doesn't really matter if this is your jumping on point. They bring you up to speed on who this is, and we see that a villain that we thought was long dead is back. But again, it doesn't matter. Jumping on issue. Check it out. If you haven't been checking out Red Coat, this was a very, very good issue, and it really sets up what's to come. And I'm really excited for what's to come, because Jeff, you've been killing it on this book and the rest of the Unnamed universe. So great stuff. And let's talk about some fun stuff happening over at Dynamite. We got Gargoyles Fantastic Four #1 by Greg Weisman and George Cambandias. Guys, it feels like a direct continuation from the other issue that Marvel put out, where the Gargoyles and Fantastic Four teamed up. Now we have Dynamite's turn on it, and it almost, like I said, it feels like the characters all already know each other. So we just jump right into the villain scheme, where we got lots of more Gargoyle named or like villains be dealing with. We're dealing with giant monsters from the Mole Man. We have the villain known as the Gargoyle showing up. He's got his own type of Xanatos suits, except they're the Titanium Man suits. We have Cold Steel making a comeback in this, and all to give the Gargoyles and Fantastic Four heck. And it's just like an action-packed issue. It's just showing how well they work together. And if you're just a fan of these characters and you just like seeing all these villains and everybody just mashing together, this was a perfectly fun issue. If you know nothing about the Gargoyles and you're really not a big Fantastic Four fan, this is totally skippable for you. But for me, I had a blast seeing all these characters on the page together, teaming up, doing their thing, seeing all the Gargoyles, just team up and how they interact with the Fantastic Four. Lots of fun. I'm a big Gargoyles fan, but like I said, if you're not, this is totally skippable, but I had fun with it. So if you are, check it out. And last but not least, something that is not skippable, especially if you've been reading all the ThunderCats stuff, is ThunderCats Panthro by Ed Brisson and Dave Acosta. Guys, all the other side books that highlight certain characters, like the Chitara book or the Pumara one, those kind of gave us background, right? If you wanted to flesh out those characters. The Panthro is one of those characters that if you are a fan of the cartoon and been reading this book, you get a lot of Panthro. So in this is actually in continuity and matters a lot from what's been going on. A villain shows up in this, and we're going to see how that villain is now going to cause heck for the rest of the ThunderCats and Third Earth. This was a great issue. I was really happy to see this villain. We've only seen sprinklings of him in the background of ThunderCats and ThunderCats Lost. So I'm really excited that this person finally shows up in this book. The art was great. Panthro was just being Panthro. And like I said, the highlight though is the villain who shows up and what's going to happen coming out of it, because it all matters. So if you've been reading ThunderCats Lost, do not miss this issue. The other ones you could miss, the Chitara stuff, the Pumara stuff, but this matters, because if that character shows up in the regular book, you're like, where did that happen? This is the book where it happened. Only a one shot, so check it out. Don't miss out. And guys, that's what we picked up for this week over here at the Comic Book Clique. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Keep the conversation going. Let me know what you picked up. Let me know what I missed, or tell me again what I picked up was just not worth it. Guys, make sure you're following us over at our Facebook, at our Instagram, at our X, at our YouTube. We're all over the place. And make sure you're checking out our website, where we're always posting great news. George and John are posting great stuff. And make sure you guys are following Dirt Sheet Radio, where if you're into wrestling and all things wrestling, you definitely don't want to miss out on all the news that we got coming out there. So guys, thank you as always. Really appreciate your time. Please stand by as always for more and more news. Let's keep the conversation going with regard to comics. And guys, again, thank you. And always remember, keep print alive, read more comics.